Hello everyone, this is me, TimeLiarG, and I'm making a sequel to my Dark Souls 1 Coziest Places video, and I was going to include Majula in this video, but I think including Majula as a whole would kind of be cheating. So I'm not going to be including the entirety of Majula, I'm just going to be talking about the mansion here, because I think the Majula Mansion, while it's kind of creepy, I think it's also cozy at the same time. You have this place where Aldia might have sat when he was a human instead of the giant tree ent that he is now. He's kind of this RS3 Guthix kind of figure now. I prefer RS1 Guthix, where he's just, you know, a skull with the tendrils coming. Anyway, this is a Dark Souls video. This isn't a RuneScape video. But yeah, this is probably one of the coziest rooms in the entire game. I don't know why the books are so big. I mean, you know, Vendrick is a pretty big guy, so I assume Aldia is as well, considering, you know, they're brothers and whatnot. So, have this item in the corner. I actually don't even remember what this item is. It's a Pharaoh's Lockstone. Who knows why there's a guy back there. I assume he's just some hollow that took refuge here. I highly doubt he was the one that wrote all this stuff, but hey, that's possible as well. Like I said, I don't even know if Aldia wrote this stuff that's in this room here. He could have stayed here, maybe not, maybe he did. Now the question is, if it was Aldia that was in here, I don't think that he would be using this stepping stool here if he wrote this entire, you know, giant book here. He clearly doesn't need some steps to reach these shelves up here. Maybe there was some other residents here as well. Who knows what Majula looked like in the past. And speaking of that, it's a shame that we're never going to be able to see what Majula looked like in the past as well. I assume that there was some kind of past version of it in the prototypes of the game when the original director was still working on it. But who knows really, maybe not. There was that prototype Majula though, where it showed kind of like the Nexus from Demon Souls. You just have these gigantic steps going up, and it's this circular looking area. And this is also another cozy little area here. Here you have the balcony to the mansion, and this is such an amazing view of Majula right here. This is an absurdly cozy view. You could just sit down here and just ignore the well down there. I forgot if this was breakable or not. Let me try to break this here. No, it's not breakable. Anyway, you can also go around the back here, and I really like the amount of detail put into this mansion, because the mansion serves no purpose whatsoever except for Kale in the basement and his quest and whatnot. But yeah, it's a very interesting place. I really like this little room right here. Like I said, this room is pretty cool. There's some sort of weapon rack there. I assume Majula looks the way it does because of the war with the giants, and that probably goes for the mansion as well. You can kind of see that it needs a little bit repairing here and there, but, you know, I think it kind of makes it more cozy this way, where the mansion's in disrepair and everything. Kind of looks pretty old. But yeah, here's the mysterious blue flames that you can get on this map here if you're in New Game Plus 7, I believe it was, or you just use a bonfire aesthetic. So here we have Kale. We have Kale here still. I never took the time to look at this mansion too closely in the basement, but if you look around here, the mansion kind of extends into the side of the mountain, and I think that's pretty cool. It's just this very strange map down here that was made of Drang Lake. So I don't know if there was supposed to be a ceiling here that used to extend further out here, because it kind of ends abruptly, and I don't know if this was intentional, where the architects just, you know, maybe they just kind of let the wall go, but it does look like the wall was destroyed somehow. But there's no rubble laying around anywhere. And I think it's weird how the floor tiles kind of extend out here as well. It seems like maybe this map thing was made afterwards and someone just dug a hole inside the mansion. I'm going to head into the basement now. This is where you can fight all the skeletons, and a new skeleton appears with each New Game Plus you're on, or, you know, of course you can just use the bonfire aesthetic. Let me light a torch in here real fast. And this, of course, is where the Lord Vessel is in Dark Souls 2. Who knows if that's the original Lord Vessel from Dark Souls 1? It probably is. I don't know why someone would create a replica of the Lord Vessel. I mean, that kind of seems like something Aldia would do, to be fair, try to recreate that. Or maybe the Lost Center try to recreate it. It's just kind of like how the Witches of Izalith try to recreate the first flame. And You can kind of see this is very strange architecture here. There's just random wood trying to... It looks like a mine shaft, but then you just have an entire building down here, but it doesn't extend above Majula, where you can't see this. Well, actually, maybe you can, because I know there's some structures outside of Majula, you know, out of bounds that you can't reach. But I always found this just to be very strange. It's like there's an entire kingdom underneath Majula or something, and I suppose that's a common trend with the Souls series, including Bloodborne. And who knows where this would have led to if this was supposed to be Firelink Shrine down here. I kind of doubt it. I don't think this is supposed to be Firelink Shrine. Something interesting is that the Throne of Want is actually labeled as Firelink Shrine in the files, so that's pretty interesting. And here's the event chest where you'd get the unique weapon skins, and you know, nowadays it just obviously gives you a soul vessel, which are pretty useful, but the weapon skins were really cool. I like how they distributed those. Those were awesome. I already talked about those before many times, so not going to bring them up again. But very intriguing place, and I do wonder if this was supposed to be for something else down here. You know, you just have this unique chest model, and I'm specifically talking about lore-wise, not the game mechanics where they distributed items here. What if, you know, this chest actually contains something else at one point? Something that I really like is that the Majula theme kind of fades out when you go into the basement down here. So it does give a more eerie feeling to the basement. And I don't know if that was intentional or not. I can't say for sure. I know in other areas, I think it's just when you get too far away from Majula, it just kind of fades out. Aside from those, that's pretty much it for the mansion. And these are the building parts I was talking about. I don't think there's any right behind the mansion when I went out of bounds before. But you can see right there, like that could have been one of the towers coming out of the ground right there, right? But it doesn't line up perfectly. It's not an exact, you know, match, obviously. But then again, this is Dark Souls 2, where Drain Lake Castle is should be a lot closer, and you have all those other distant things that don't really make any sense. What? Okay, I was about to do an introduction to the next segment that I was doing, but I just got souls from something. I was standing there for a while as well, getting ready, and I just absorbed. I don't even think it gave me any souls. I'm gonna have to go back in the recording and see that. Well, anyway, before I got interrupted there, I was just going to mention that I have to talk about things betwixt in this video, obviously. Specifically the place with the old firekeepers in it. This tree house here, extremely cozy. I wish you could sit in the chair with them as well. You can see there's a nice simple chandelier up there made out of wood to put some candles on. And speaking of wood, I would be concerned if this tree stump was flammable because of this fireplace that's put in here. And I think this place would fill up with smoke rather fast because there's no actual chimney portion to this. But see, there's some nice candles over here as well. Have a lot of sacks, probably just potatoes or some other kind of food inside them. And there's actually a table here. It looks like a butcher's table. There's a lot of splattering on it. You have a bandit's knife there as well. This is actually kind of bizarre. You know, I never looked at this too closely, but it is kind of strange that there's some kind of butcher's table here. I always talk about how there's a missing firekeeper. You know, that's actually kind of grim now that I think about it. If there's some kind of butcher table up here and they're saying there's a missing firekeeper. If it's not Shanalot, the Emerald Herald, you know, it could also be some other nameless firekeeper that's also in the intro as well. It could be the one in the intro. Who knows? That it also gets more confusing when you consider that there is supposed to be a child Shanalot as well. Who knows how she ties into this? I know how much of a mess the story is and whatnot with the development of the game. All around, it is a pretty nice area, though. You have some more candles there. You have some stuff on the shelves, some more candles, and you have this nice window here as well. Have some nice window. You can place some stuff on there. And let me take a look at this, actually. I never looked at this stuff too closely before. Not too much to see. It just, for some reason, there's some kind of decorative plate there. If it's not decorative, I don't know why they have it sitting like that. Yeah, I don't know why they haven't cleaned this yet. This looks like they placed 100 candles on it so far. This is very interesting. I never actually noticed that before. You know, every time I start the game, you don't typically turn around and go back out the other way, unless you want the stone ring, of course. But it's, I find that a pretty strange oddity. Just this uncleaned candle holder here. That waterfall noise could actually be annoying. I'm assuming in-universe they can hear that from inside. Maybe not if they close the door. But I don't think there's any glass on that window, though, so they're probably hearing that waterfall in the distance. Of course, if you listen to it for an hour, it could be soothing, but any more than that, it would probably start to get pretty annoying there. Now, something that takes off points from this place being cozy is just the fact that you have these gigantic stalactites, stalagmites just hanging from the ceiling. And I suppose they're protected because, you know, they're living in this tree here. And if one of those fell down, I don't know if that would go right through the right through the tree, but yeah, there's also holes in the top of the tree as well. There might be some problems with some birds and whatnot getting in. You know, let me go check the ceiling out over here again real fast. Because I don't think this actually extends upwards. No, there's... actually... Who knows how this works? That actually looks like rock. That looks like it's made out of rocks. Could just be like some kind of arch tree. Some species of arch tree or something. But why would there be... like layers of it? I don't know. Also over here you can see that they have some nice bone instrument right here where I don't know if this is some kind of wind chime or they just come out here and rattle the bones for Halloween. I don't know what this is used for. Leads me to believe that there's something more sinister here as well. You have the butcher table upstairs, you have the missing firekeeper, and you have someone's bones right here. So there's a house right over there. I just wanted to talk about this other extremely cozy spot right here. Just this small little bridge here. You have the stream going down. I really like the texture and the work they did in the water here. This is a very, very cool looking place. This would be an amazing place to live. Aside from the noise, of course, like I mentioned before. By the way, I don't know about you guys, but do you see a face in that tree over there? It looks like some kind of creepy, smug face. Look at that. It even has lips on it as well. It has the nose, lips, and eyes, except its eyes are closed. You see that? I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Look at that. So here I am in Aldia's Keep, and before you write any comments saying, you know, what are you talking about? How is Aldia's Keep cozy? You have a whole bunch of creatures trapped in cages, some horrific experiments in the back of the mansion, and you just have all these people, when you light torches, like Forlorn, coming out to try to get you. But I think this room right here is the reason why this place is cozy. Now, you're going to have to ignore some things in this room, alright? You just close the door real fast, and ignore that texture air right there. Just ignore that. Ignore these cages right here. Who knows what those were used for? Aside from all that, let me take a closer look here. You have all these green vials here. I don't actually know what that says on the bottles. You can't really see the texture too well. Even if you extract the textures from the game, they're probably still blurry. I don't know if you can actually like translate that properly, if you can zoom in enough to where you can actually see what that says. But I know there's books in the game that you can look closely at, and it has things written on it. But these vials give this very nice, delightful green glow off of them and everything. And over on the other side of the room, you just have more of these green vials. And of course, you know, there's not too many cozy aspects about this. It's mostly just the atmosphere of the room. It just would be a nice place to sit down and read a book or something. Now, when you're in this room, you also have to ignore what's down below. And down below here, there's these two creatures that were probably experimented on. And they're in this corrosive material, this horrific material that is probably used to make the corrosive urns. And there's just thorns on the side of the bars. It's like some kind of prison. Very horrific stuff. Something that tells me that these dogs might actually be natural from somewhere is that one is in the gutter, but obviously the gutter is for things that have been disposed of, so Aldia could have just dumped them down there. Yeah, it's not a very pleasant place down here. The color itself is cozy. The atmosphere, where you have the fog all around, is cozy. It kind of looks like Persona 4 fog, so I guess it's not that cozy. But yeah, you just have these two dogs down here. and the skeletons and the corrosive material all over the place. So that makes this room upstairs less cozy because you kind of have that corrosiveness leaking into the other rooms and whatnot. And this was an illusion wall where you can find a bonfire behind it. So nothing cozy about this room. It's just a square room, just like the rest of Dark Souls 2. Head back upstairs, and this is my favorite part about this room, is just this. It's just, you know, just doing this. There you go. Look how awesome this is. Isn't that wonderful? There's also some just stuck there. Right there. Look at that. Oh, they actually make a hissing noise when you step on the bottles or roll through them. Let me try this again. I don't think I've ever actually noticed that before. It amazes me how detailed this game actually is. That is really cool. That is some really cool stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the room. There's no secret doors behind here, although there should be. There should be some secret doors behind these bookshelves and everything. But yeah, not that cozy of a room, but I decided I'd show it off anyway. By the way, this looks like another face right here. If you zoom in on the texture, look at that. The next area I'm walking towards is the Huntsman Copse, specifically the first bonfire of the area. And you can just ignore him over there. He's just having a good time staring at the wall. He's just relaxing. And, you know, that just tells you that this place is very relaxing if you have someone sitting in this cave over here just staring at a wall. But right here, this area in specific, you have this nice view of the Colosseum. Something that takes away points of it being cozy is that you can probably hear screams in universe coming from that Colosseum over there, and just a lot of, you know, battle cries, some war cries going on. And you'd have these nice boxes here. I don't know what happened here. This was already like this. I did not do this. But you have a nice little tent there where you can just lay on the ground. Could do for some kind of sleeping sack there or something. But you have this nice cozy bonfire, and you just look out into the mountains over in the distance. I'm going to zoom in to show off the distant structures here. You can see there's the Colosseum like I just mentioned, and if you go over this way you can see the mountains in the distance, the clouds. You can also see the trees there. It's like the Duke's Archives trees. And you can see those very strange birds that are flying upside down. You know, they're stuck in some kind of twister or tornado. Just don't mind them. Don't mind the birds flying like that backwards, upside down backwards, and in circles doing 360s. You know, you just have to take in the scenery and really admire the nature here of the abyss below. And you know, maybe this area isn't actually that cozy now I think about it. Maybe it's not the coziest area, but it's still a pretty, you know, it's reasonable. It's a reasonable area, and you can also see travelers passing by, waving hi to you as you're just sleeping there underneath the tarp. I don't know what this is. I guess those are just leaves on the top. Oh, actually, I didn't even realize this before. It looks like there's splatters on the top there, so I assume something might have happened here. You know, along with all the destroyed stuff down there. I mean, hey, there's no bodies or anything around here, so you know, it adds points that, you know, this area has been used as a nice rest place for a long time for just weary and wandering travelers and everything. And oh, hey, there's a moth up there. Look at that. There's one of those butterfly moth type things. I didn't even know that there was one up there. I'm actually noticing a lot of these when I make these videos. I've been noticing a lot that there's a lot of those hidden all around the game, and I know about some locations, but not all of them. This is one that I've never actually noticed before, and it's nice enough to where it doesn't actually try to get you with its poison mist, its moth dust that it sprays out, so it's courteous enough. It knows that this area is peaceful and cozy and everything. I thought I just heard footsteps, actually. I know that there's an enemy right up there, but it's actually getting kind of scary around here. It's Halloween time. It's getting kind of scary, but yeah, I'm just gonna leave that nice little moth butterfly alone. Oh, that was someone laughing. Actually, there's someone laughing around here. It's not him either. It's definitely not the moth up there. Maybe it's this hollow over here, but Oh yeah, no, it's just him. He's having a good time too. See, he knows how cozy this place is. Look at him. Yeah, so he's having a good time. And this guy's having a good time. He's just scooping dirt into his mouth to eat. See, let's have a look at him there real fast. See, he's just oh. See, this man just wants to rest as well here at the bonfire. So I'm going to let him to his business. He can come rest over here. It's right over here. See, cozy. He had enough of the coziness here, so he's probably going to be leaving soon. Goodbye. He's just had enough of this little cozy place here. He's gonna go back to his friends. This has been me, TimeLiarG. I appreciate all of your time as usual, and I hope you enjoyed this video on cozy places and areas in Dark Souls 2. It's the sequel to I think I said that in the intro, it's the sequel to the Dark Souls 1 video I made. I have another one similar to this on Dark Souls 1. I don't know when I'm gonna upload that, if I'll upload it, but I'll see you all around, and may God bless your day, your week, your month, your life. I'll see you around.